Yes, we're back for free practice too in Abu Dhabi for the decider in the desert. Hey, Sema, nice to have you in the chat. This is it. We're going to learn something in this session. I promise you that. I know FP1 was dull as dishwater. FP2, we should get more information. We haven't even seen Oscar Piastri out on track yet. But we did see there was only 8 milliseconds between Verstappen and Norris in FP1. But we have no idea of Piastri's pace here, do we? So FP2 is going to be telling. What we're looking for is to see Piastri come out. And if he is quicker than Norris, then, we can get excited. Because if Piastri comes out quicker than Norris, it's going to give us an indicator that maybe we will get a Verstappen-Piastri front row. McLaren have made it clear, though. McLaren made it clear that they will ask Piastri to give up a position if it means, or even 2 or 3 positions, if it means Lando Norris winning the World Drivers' Championship over Max. So what I'm saying is you could have Max in P1, Oscar Piastri running P2, Lando could be running in P4, and because Lando Norris needs to finish on the podium to win, there is a situation where McLaren could ask Oscar to pull over, allow George past and Lando past, and give up podium. But would Piastri do it? Should he do it? And I think that is going to be our poll. And it's going to be, should Piastri, I type so slowly, should Piastri give up a podium to allow Lando to win the WDC? So this is the poll we'll have running during FP3. Because if you're Oscar Piastri and you're running P2, and let's say George Russell's running P3 in the race, and Lando Norris is P4, that would mean that Oscar Piastri would have to pull over, allow George past, giving George P2, and then allow Lando past, giving Lando P3, and Piastri doesn't get a podium. But that is the situation. McLaren have clarified that they would do that. I like that, Sema. Sema said he shouldn't do it. Problem is, it means that McLaren wouldn't win the World Drivers' Championship, right? And could you imagine the fallout? The thing is, a lot of people feel that Oscar Piastri has not been treated fairly this season by McLaren. They feel that he has had the shitty end of the stick. And I think, honestly, he has a couple of times. And I think if there is a situation where Piastri can literally determine the outcome by handing Lando a couple of places, you know, to allow him to get on the podium, I mean, I think he'll do it. I think Piastri would do it. Zach Brown, who was just in an interview with Sky F1, he said, I have no problem. Of course, Piastri will do it. He has no doubt in his mind that should Piastri get the team order to move over and allow people past him to allow Lando to win the World Drivers' Championship, then he would. And I think he would. I don't know if I'd do it, though. I don't know if I would. Especially if I thought that I'd been hard done by. Especially if I thought that the team had let me down. Like they let me down in Qatar. Like they let me down in Monza. They let me down with not fighting for against my penalties. I would, if I was Piastri, it'd be a hard thing to do if I'm running P2 and Lando's P4 and I have to pull over and allow, let's say, George Russell and Lando through for Lando to win the World Drivers' Championship. Yeah, Crackite said, if Piastri can't win, then I think he should. That's what McLaren says, Crackite. Knock-on effect could bite him in the ass. Well, that's true. The team would hate him. If he didn't allow Lando past, the team would be furious. And I don't think you could come back from it. I think if that happened, they would you know what's funny about that situation is that if Piastri didn't allow Lando past him to get the podium in order for Lando to win the World Drivers' Championship, they wouldn't blame Lando Norris for not being good enough all season, or the team for all the mistakes they've made. They'd blame Piastri in that one moment and say, Piastri, it's your fault that we didn't win the World Drivers' Championship because you didn't give up the place, which wouldn't be true. There's lots of reasons why Lando Norris didn't win the World Drivers' Championship. He didn't win enough races. And the team's got a part in that. So to put it all on Oscar Piastri, if anything, Oscar Piastri, if he allowed Lando past to win, to get a podium, to win the World Drivers' Championship, he's the one that saved Lando. And if he didn't allow him past, he's not the one that's cost Lando the championship. The entire season has to be taken into account. So, I don't know. I can understand. It's not the easiest decisions for a driver to do that. But he will. But I do think he will let him pass. So free practice 2, we should learn a little bit more. We'll see who really is quick. Is the McLaren looking faster than the Red Bull? Is Piastri looking faster than Norris? Not long till we find out. Because FP1 was just a bit of a damp squid, wasn't it? You know, we had all the rookies out there, which was great. They need the experience, and teams need to field the rookies 4 times a year. But we didn't learn anything. All we learned was in FP1 was that Max was, 800ths faster, 800th of a second faster than Norris in FP1. But now we should actually get an indication of who is going to be competitive. But do take part, if you just joined us, take part in the poll. The poll is, should Piastri give up a podium to allow Lando to win the World Drivers' Championship if ordered to do so by McLaren? I mean, at the moment, most of you are saying no. No, he shouldn't. Yeah, you see, I agree with that, Sema. I think if Lando... Because here's the other thing. Sema says if Lando is the deserving champion, he'll win on Sunday regardless. He won't need help. But if you're in that position where your teammates basically gifted you the World Drivers' Championship, does it still feel like a win? I mean, do you really... I mean, I'm sure being world champion's still nice, but you'll always know that you didn't do enough throughout the season. You'll always know that you didn't really do enough. And it was your teammate that saved you. I mean, I don't know how that feels. I think when Michael Schumacher was handed victories by Rubens Barrichello, wasn't he, at Ferrari? I don't think it stopped him enjoying being world champion, though. I think it'd bother me. Because I got one of those brains. It would bother me. If I got gifted it by my teammate, it would always haunt me that I hadn't done enough throughout the whole season to win it. Fair and square. But I've got my mug of coffee. We've got data. Got track. Got the live action on the television in front of me. Everything we need for FP1. Hopefully, with it being Friday, you're managing to skive off from work a little bit so you can enjoy the footage, enjoy the practice, enjoy the stream. Earlier on, we had Mark Reeves, who was able to, while sat at his desk, he's watching the stream. I love that. Yeah, but it's not been since 2010. We've not had a situation in Formula One where the final Grand Prix of the season could allow for multiple winners, more than 2. Last time was 2010. And Fernando Alonso went into the final race in the lead when he was driving for Ferrari. And Sebastian Vettel ended up winning the World Drivers' Championship. And that was 2010. So it's been a long time since we've had a situation where at least 3 drivers could win the World Drivers' Championship. But I'll take you around the screen. To the right of the screen, we've got all the live data. Yeah, I'm on coffee, not tea today. Middle of the day. Middle of the day, so I thought it was all right to have a coffee. Yeah. Yeah. It's not even a like a filter coffee or a cafetiere. It's a instant coffee, but it is Dow Egberts, which is my favorite. We need a sponsor on this show. Maybe if any representatives from Dow Egberts are watching, I drink Dow Egberts instant coffee. How about sponsorship? F1 Grandstand, fueled by Dow Egberts. Here's your discount code if you want to go and get some. I take it. Listen, we're brand new, aren't we? We're only going a few months, so I'll take any sponsor. So as it lines up, Norris 12 points ahead of Verstappen, 16 points ahead of Piastri. There's multiple ways in which any one of those drivers could win it, but basically Norris wins it by finishing on the podium outright. First, second, or third, he wins it. All drivers in the cars getting ready to come out for FP2. Did you see Charles Leclerc and his brother Arthur Leclerc out in FP1? Two brothers out on track. To be fair, Charles was quicker. He did have a spin, though. Charles did have a spin in FP1, in which his brother took the piss out of him on the team radio and said, "Oh, is Charles doing a burnout for the fans?" Yeah, funny. So free practice starts in just 45 seconds time. Don't forget to take part in our poll. Should Piastri give up a podium to allow Lando to win the World Drivers' Championship? Lots of you say no. Wow. A lot of you say no. I do think he will, though. We'll get an indication now anyway to see if Piastri's quicker than Norris. Okay, practice starts in 20 seconds time. Our data should be coming through. So you've got all the drivers. You'll know what tyres are on, fastest lap times, current lap times, and their current deltas, their sectors 1, 2, and 3. If any of those are purple, you know they are fastest in those sectors. So, Lawson out on the mediums, Gasly coming out on the mediums. Clock's ticking. Gasly, Lawson, Albon already out on track. So apparently they're doing some setup changes to Verstappen's car. Hamilton, first time he's been out on track due to giving up his car to Arthur Leclerc. I mean, lots of people are only out for the first time. Piastri, first time he's coming out on track. Crackeye, if I've got this right, imagine Piastri in first, Max in second, and Lando in fourth. Then on the last lap, Piastri makes a mistake and Max passes. That's true. That would be very. That would cause a media storm, wouldn't it? Did Piastri do it on purpose? Did he give Max the championship? More interesting though, what if Piastri's in first, Max is in second, Russell's in fourth, Leclerc's in fifth, Lando's in sixth? No, it wouldn't work. I'm trying to think what the permeate. So Max needs to get third. Yeah, so Piastri giving up his place to Max. And let's say George Russell is second. And then, yeah, so Piastri could be in first place and have to give up winning the race to allow Lando onto the podium. That could be a situation. Piastri's winning, Lando's in fourth. But then again, actually, I need to remind myself what the permit, where if Max finishes second and Lando finishes fourth, he still wins, doesn't he? Ah, the maths. The multiple ways each driver can win this championship. There's a lot of maths going on today. Good job I've got a coffee. I do have, actually. Bear with me. We do have this. So here you go. We do have this graphic. Yeah, so if Max gets second, Lando Norris only has to finish 8th. Sorry, 7th. So if Piastri wins and Max is second, Lando's only got to finish in the top 7 to win the World Drivers' Championship. So there is a lot of ways Lando can win this championship. Really, Lando should just be aiming for a podium. That's the most sensible thing. Like, he just needs to finish in the top 3 and he wins it. And if Lando just focuses on his own game, then I think that's actually obviously very achievable. Unless something happens, unless there's an incident, which could happen. I think qualifying is going to be very important. Can Lando actually show that? Because a lot of people say that Lando Norris bottled it. And I think at times he may have shown he's bottled it. But he seems a bit more robust these days. So we'll see. Well, the next 54 minutes should tell us a lot. I mean, really, I just want to see who's faster out of Norris and Piastri. I think that really does make a difference today. So, and for all the conspiracy theorists, is Piastri's car as quick as Norris's car? Or has there been any interference? So everyone's on the mediums apart from the Haas. Oh, and Hadjar. Which indicates that they're already trying to do qualifying runs. Yeah, Crackite says, I can't help but think McLaren will make a stupid decision in the race. I think that it's not beyond them, is it? I think McLaren, if anyone's going to make a daft decision, it's them. I mean, they've just not been getting it right from a team point of view, have they? The decisions in Vegas to run the cars too low was ridiculous. The decision in Qatar to not bring both drivers in for a free pit stop on lap 7 under the safety car, like everyone else did. The decisions that have been made on the pit wall I mean, you can only look at Zach Brown and Stella. They're making those calls. And big mistakes. Big mistakes. A lot of people would argue making the drivers invert in Monza was a mistake because the tyre gun jamming was a racing incident. So McLaren have just not left the rest of the grid going, God, that team, what they're a well-oiled machine. No, they just say McLaren have built a great car. But operationally, over race weekends, I think they've been consistently bad. Agile's gone, P1. Well, as you'd expect with the softs on. Fastest first sector, fastest middle sector. But comparatively on the mediums, you've got Verstappen and Norris. Piastri, a couple of tenths behind them. So Max Verstappen looks like he's already up to some tricks, impeding Lando Norris. Max Verstappen going very slow on the racing line there, as Norris was gearing up for a quick lap. I don't know. I wouldn't put it. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Max for some crazy games, would you? Yeah, Vlad. Welcome to the chat, my friend. Yes, McLaren are the new Ferrari of strategy. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they've been thinking this year. I mean, Ferrari's a whole different thing. Like, not only have Ferrari's pit wall been terrible, but it's the whole team, isn't it? It's the engineering side. It's the fact that the drivers asked for certain upgrades for the car and the engineering side couldn't deliver it. They needed to solve the ride height issue, gave them a rear suspension that was untunable. It's literally, here's your new rear suspension. Hasn't really worked. You can't really change the setup of it. And because of Fred Vasseur said, in April 2025, we're focusing on the 26 car, that Ferrari is just, over the season, as everyone else has got even better, well, they've slipped from P2 in the constructors down to P4, which is where they should be. They've become a mid-team. I mean, it's outrageous. And what they've done with Fred is they've said to Fred, you've got 5 races in 26. And if you, because it's basically Fred, the 26 car is basically Fred's car. He's led the engineering of that car, obviously with his team leaders, but he's been the decision maker. And what Ferrari have said to him, well, they would have sacked him if they could. But because he's been leading the development of this car, they can't. So what they've said to him is, you've got 5 races in 26. And if the car's not good and it's not competitive, then you're out. And that's what the only thing that Ferrari senior management, John Elkann, and Piero Ferrari have said. They are furious with, you know, losing P2 in the constructors. But what can they do? They're handcuffed to Fred, because the amount of development that needs to go on between now and the first race of 26 in Melbourne, there's lots of work to be done. And all the engineers complained about this year's car, the 25 car, because they said, well, the 25 car was based on Enrico Cardil's car, which was the 24 car. He then left to go to Aston Martin, and the engineers couldn't fix the problems that were inherent with Cardil's car, and they're going to have the same problem. So that's why Fred Vasseur keeps his job. Well, for 5 races. Did a whole video on it, if you want to see it. It's on the channel. It's Fred Gets 5 Races. You can watch that maybe later if you get time. So right now, Hadjar's out on the softs and currently fastest man on track. Verstappen's on mediums. He's P2. Behrman's on softs. He's gone second fastest. Ocon's up there. He's on the softs as well, so it's not really a good comparison. Piastri's quicker than Norris at the moment on the mediums. Expect to see that McLaren get quicker, though. But at the moment, Verstappen quicker than the McLarens in FP1, and he's currently quicker than both McLarens in FP2. Is that telling us something? Maybe. I think Max will qualify on pole, and I think Max will win the race. Well, I do think that. The rest of it, who knows? But I think Max will do his job. Max's job is to win. And Max is so much better under pressure than any other driver. In fact, the more pressure, the higher the stakes, the more relaxed he is. If you saw him in his pre-race or in his interview today, he was just saying, well, I've got the trophy looks the same. I've got 4 of those at home. For me, it's a bonus if I win. He just looks so relaxed. But underneath, he obviously wants to win. But he'll do his job. I'm sure of it. He will do his job. Don't forget to get involved in the poll. Should Piastri give up a podium to allow Lando to win the WDC, the World Drivers' Championship? So far, most of you are saying no, he shouldn't. Kind of, I agree with it. So Vlad says, I think Ferrari might have a good 26 car. Yeah, did you see it, Vlad? Yeah, he was super chill, wasn't he? Max was like so chilled. He was bantering the other boys. He was saying, I've got 4 of those trophies at home. That one looks the same. You know, my signature will look the same on that one as the other ones. And he was just seemed super relaxed. So Krakite says, Max engineer on the radio said Lando isn't making a run. Then said, maybe he is. Yeah, I know. I mean, is that gamesmanship, though? Did he do it on purpose? Maybe his engineer was trying to mess with Lando. Yeah, Emma, you're right. This is why qualifying's going to be so good. If Max gets pole, he'll win it. 100. If Max gets pole, he'll win it. I agree. I'm thinking of what permutations are needed for Lando to overtake Oscar the third. I think it could be this. I think you could get a situation where Max is P1, Oscar's P2, George Russell's P3, and Lando's P4. And I think that would mean Oscar would have to give up his second position and third position to allow Lando to get P3. I think that is a real possibility. So Lando gives up a podium in that way. He's running P2. Because George Russell could be quick here. I don't think Leclerc's going to be up there. I doubt it. I think really the Mercedes is the most likely sort of disruptor in this 3-way party. I think George Russell could disrupt things by, being in top 3 positions. Maybe Leclerc if Ferrari have a miracle setup. I don't know. But there are so many different ways that it can happen. But if Max is finishing second, Lando only has to finish in the top 7 to win the World Drivers' Championship. Let me just pull this up for you, Vlad. Hang on, have a look at this. So for Piastri finishes first, Lando needs to finish 6th or lower. And then Piastri wins it. So if Piastri wins it, Norris needs to finish 5th or higher. If Max is second and Piastri's third, then Lando needs to finish 7th or higher. There's so many different permutations which can change this. Oh, that's true, Sema. Yeah, Mercedes only works in cool, dry conditions. Maybe it's too hot for Mercedes. True that. I've not really seen Mercedes put any reasonable times in FP1. We should get an idea during this, when they all get on the soft towards the end of the session. That's when they're going to be putting in some sort of quali run times, and we'll see if the Mercedes is competitive. So Vlad says, this is what I mean. If Lando is 4th, he's world champion. No, not if Max wins. If Lando is 4th, Max wins. I think. Yeah, so if Max comes first and Lando finishes 4th, Max wins the championship. Lando would need to finish 3rd. Yeah, so Lando needs a 4th or lower. That's right, Vlad. Yeah, you can see it on there. Right, yeah. So if Max wins, if Lando is 4th or lower. That's why the podium becomes vital if Max wins, right? That means Lando has to finish 3rd. And I think, like I said, I'd back Max under these circumstances. I'm backing Max. I am backing Max to do it. I think Max will win it. I think Max will do his job. Crackite says, I think all 3 should start from the back. Under those circumstances, all 3 from the back, Max has got to win it. Although Piastri, I back Piastri over Lando for overtakes. That's right, Vlad. That's exactly the situation I'm talking about. So if Max is 1st, Oscar is 2nd, George Russell's 3rd, Oscar needs to let Russell and Lando pass and finish 4th. Exactly. That's the situation I'm talking about. Should he do it? McLaren said he will do it if those are the orders, because that's the only way they can secure the World Drivers' Championship. But that's a real possibility, Vlad. It is. Max is winning. Oscar in 2nd place. George Russell in 3rd. Lando in 4th. And then Oscar Piastri has to let George Russell through to take 2nd and Lando through to take 3rd to guarantee the World Drivers' Championship. That's a situation that could happen. Could you imagine if that situation was happening and Oscar just went, nah, changed my mind. I'm not doing it. Fuck you. Like, could you imagine he just had a meltdown, decided he wasn't going to do it. It's certainly possible. Yeah. I mean, would you do it though, Vlad? Would you, if you were Oscar in that situation and you're in P2, would you give up your podium to allow Lando to finish P3? I don't know whether I'd do it, you know. I know I'd get in trouble for not doing it, but I just don't know if I don't know if I could do it. No, you see, you wouldn't do it, right? Would Max do it? Would Lewis Hamilton do it? Would Fernando Alonso do it? Would any of top drivers? Would Senna have done it? No way. I don't think so. I wouldn't. I don't think I've got it in me to do it. I think I'd just get the bollocking from the team afterwards. And my argument would be, well, Lando's had all season to win the championship. You can't blame me that he hasn't won it. He should have won more races. Yeah, exactly. It's just so competitive. I remember, do you know what I do remember about those days, Vlad? I remember Eddie Irvine supporting Schumacher a lot as well. But the what I do remember a season where Eddie Irvine was close to winning a world title. Was it 99? Jesus. Hey, Shaitan. Welcome to the chat, my friend. You just joined in for the right time. The business. Everyone's not doing long runs at the minute on the mediums. Only a few out on the soft. Yeah, it was close to 99. You know, Eddie Irvine was wild, you know. I had a friend who knew him, and he said he was a real party guy. Oh, Shaitan says, well, let's resume our topic of the dream driver pairings. That would have wanted to see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ferrari slipped up in the Europe GP. So who won that year? Vlad, who won in 99? They forgot a tyre and lost the race. Oh, Hakkinen. Ah, Hakkinen's year. Yeah, because he won it 2 years on the road, didn't he, for McLaren? Was it 98 and 99 when it was him and Coulthard? Where Hakkinen said that Coulthard was a very, very quick rookie. But he couldn't ever let David beat him because he couldn't bear the thought of a rookie beating him. Shaitan says Irvine got effed by a super slow pit stop by Ferrari that year, if I'm not wrong. Right. Oh, yeah. But a friend of mine, like I said, knew Eddie Irvine socially, and she said that he was an absolute like party guy. He loved to party back then. And that was when he was racing as well. So I really just want to see Verstappen, Piastri and Norris all out on the softs. Yeah, so Kimi joined 2002, took Mika's place. That's right. So Coulthard was at McLaren from 98 to 2004. Oh, Juan Pablo Montoya, he was wild. His son's doing well, I think, in F2. I think even in Abu Dhabi, I think Montoya Jr. I think has just put he put the F2 car on pole. But Juan Pablo was so aggressive, wasn't he? Montoya was so aggressive. Sebastian Montoya, yeah. Yeah, he's been doing pretty well in F2. I think he just put it on pole. So Hadjar. Oh, Verstappen is on the softs, and he has gone fastest of all. So now we're going to get some indication of who's quick. Let's get Piastri and Norris on these softs. So as expected, now Verstappen's on the softs. He's going to be up near the front, or at the front. Oh, is he? Shaitan says, by the way, he's now also under Alonso's A14 management company. Really? Well, I think Alonso's thinking about the future. I think he'd be a great manager. He manages Bortoleto as well, doesn't he? Alonso. Gabriel Bortoleto. Mark Reeves. I'm in the cleaning cupboard at work watching right now. That's brilliant. Well done, Mark. Love the work. Oh, Toslov's also there. He's quick. Yeah, Bortoleto. That's right. Yeah, because I remember Fernando and Bortoleto doing an interview where they were talking about Fernando both being out on track and how that affects Bortoleto. But I think Fernando, his time in Formula One is limited. He's 45 next year, for God's sake. I mean, I'd love him to finish with the World Championship then at Aston Martin. But then he's obviously be around the paddock a lot if he's got a couple of F1 drivers on the grid. Pepe Marti is also there, but now competing in Formula. God, has Fernando Alonso got a... How did he manage all these people? And race. He must have some good guys working with him. So if you watch NASCAR, it's like Denny Hamlin racing, managing Bubba Wallace. I don't watch a lot of NASCAR, but if I catch it, I do enjoy it. But I know who Bubba Wallace is, obviously, because isn't he the first black NASCAR driver? And it was a tough time for him as well, wasn't it? But yeah, I don't know enough about NASCAR. Here's a question. Has there ever been a NASCAR driver to come from NASCAR to F1? I know F1 drivers have gone from F1 to NASCAR, but has there ever been a NASCAR driver that's come to F1? Yes. So yeah, the first African-American driver. Yeah, and he's quick as well. And I remember watching a documentary. It was just such a difficult road for him. Unbelievable when you think in the modern world how a driver can be treated just because of the colour of his skin. It's outrageous. But yeah, I don't know. Has there ever? It's a good trivia question. Has there ever been a NASCAR driver to come from NASCAR to F1? I can't think of one. Yeah, there's been a couple of IndyCar drivers. Sebastian Buemi. I remember Buemi. Mario Andretti, the obvious one. World champion. Back in I want to say 78, 79 in the Lotus. Colin Chapman's Lotus. But Sebastian Bourdais. When was he racing in F1? The only IndyCar driver I know to ever win a world championship in Formula One is Mario Andretti. I mean, why do you think it is? Do you think there's a big difference between IndyCar? Do you think there's a big difference? I mean, it's an open, open cockpit, IndyCar. They're pretty quick. I just wonder why there's never really been. Why we take a lot of F2 drivers, but we don't take a lot of IndyCar drivers. I know Nigel Mansell, when he retired from Formula One, he went over to IndyCar and won it. Ah. 2009. Yeah, but there's been a few F1 drivers who've ended up in IndyCar. Yes, IndyCar. I mean, so what you're saying is the car is less important. Fun fact, Will Power is also under Alonso A14 Management Company now. Is he? Yeah. Do you think, here's a question for you. Do you think, so Mark's asking the same question as me. Look at my poll. Tony, do you think it's fair if Oscar gives up his podium for Lando, even though I would love Norris to win? I think it's a little bit unfair, to be honest. So here's my thought on it, because that is the poll that's running. We were talking about the permutations, right? So the permutations were this. So let's say Max is in first place, Oscar Piastri's in second place, George Russell's in third, Lando's in fourth. Do I think Piastri should give up second and third to allow George to go past into second, allow Lando to go into third to win the World Drivers' Championship? I think it's unfair. I don't think that's Lando winning the World Drivers' Championship on merit, because this is what I was saying. Everyone will say, if Oscar doesn't do it and doesn't allow Lando through, everyone will say, Oscar Piastri, you cost Lando the championship. No, he didn't. Lando could have won more races out of the 24 races this season. Right? The entire season, it's one moment where you're asking for a gift from somebody to give you that. That's not earning it, is it? That's you are second. You're second on your own merit. But somebody's now gifted you that little extra boost so you can win the World Drivers' Championship. I don't think it's winning it. So I know Oscar will do it if he's asked to. He will give up the place, give up the podium. But if I'm Lando and it was me, I would never truly feel that I'd won it because I needed that help. And I don't think that's the best way to win something. If I win it, I want to win it. I want it to be because of my choices, my decisions, my results. And also, Vlad's right about this. The team, but again, the team messed up there, didn't they? Because of the plank wear. You know, running the car too low, getting all those points, losing all those points, crazy. Stupid decision. But why should Oscar be the one who has to save the team? Well, he's not even saving. He is saving the team, but he's really saving Lando. Again. I don't know. I don't know if it's fair. I don't know if it's winning. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that is truly winning. McLaren lost a race in 24 because they let them fight. Well, yeah. Obviously, they had the team rule that they're not allowed to touch. I mean, I suppose you could argue that Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris in the sprint race, I forget which race it was, where both McLarens DNF'd in the sprint race, where they hit Nico Hülkenberg. Vlad says either there are no team orders or they favour Lando. It feels that way. And Sema's right. Oscar would have more points if it wasn't for the previous papaya rules. Yeah, he would. And I agree with Mark on this. It wouldn't mean the same. I think Lando needs to just go out and get a podium. He just needs to finish in the top 3. He's P1 at the moment, though, which is good news for Lando. He's out on the softs now. He's showing some pace. He's 0.3 faster than Verstappen. Where's Piastri? He's on his outlap on the softs. Hey, Dre. Nice to have you in the chat, buddy. I 0.3. I'd say 0.3. A lap. Oh, hang on a minute. Why have I got? Let me just refresh this to make sure Max is on the mediums because I think he's on the soft. I don't think Max is on the mediums. I think that's. For some reason, I think the date that's coming through for AWS is incorrect. Max is on the softs. I can't wait for qualifying. No worries, Sema. You get some rest. I know it's late in Australia, but don't worry. It's all going to get exciting tomorrow. Qualifying. Oh, and FP3. So I'll see you tomorrow, Sema. Get some Zeds. Yeah, Max is on the softs. For some reason, the data showing on our feed from AWS is incorrect. So everyone's on the soft now. So this is where we're actually going to see some qualifying pace. So Piastri on his first hot lap on the softs, I think. Is he on pace with Norris, which is a 1:23.08? If Piastri wins, he'll be the first Australian to win. Hang on a minute. I'm not sure about that because I think. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you're right because I had a brain freeze because obviously Bruce McLaren was from New Zealand, wasn't he? I had to just double check. Ah, Piastri had a little lock up. Going to flat spot his tyres. So Piastri probably should come in. Who are the ex-F1 drivers that you think we could have seen more, but we didn't due to various different circumstances? I think this is a controversial one. I think we could have seen more of Mick Schumacher because he was in the Haas, didn't really go that great. But I think Mick Schumacher might have benefited from another season. Different set of circumstances. I think Mick Schumacher. Yes, Mark, qualifying is going to be mega. Looking forward to that. Me too. Other drivers who I think we could have seen more of. I'd tell you this season, I'd say Jack Doohan is probably feeling a little bit hard done by, but considering he got replaced by Cole Pinto, and Cole Pinto wasn't any better, was he? But Jack Doohan didn't really get much of a crack at it. Here's one for you as well. Do you remember Nick De Vries? He came in with all this promise, didn't he? Disappeared, and he's that did not work out for him. It did not work out for him. But I'd say someone that I actually felt that could have done more. I think Mick Schumacher. And I think he might, because here's the thing, here's a fact that'll surprise you. Mick Schumacher is only 26. He's only 26. So doesn't mean he can't find his way back. I think he could. I think he could find his way back. But yeah, Mick Schumacher. Vlad says, I remember when the Ferrari engineer said De Vries on track and Carlos Sainz heard debris on track. Yeah. I mean, I feel that he I don't know what it was with him. I think he came in with this super confidence, didn't he? Van Dorn. Jeez. I don't know enough about Van Dorn. I just, but all I remember about Van Dorn is that, like, a liability. But De Vries, I thought, was an interesting one. He got they really made a big thing of him. And he had been quick, and he gets this chance, and he had this arrogance about him. He just got the energy all wrong, and people didn't warm to him at all, and then he wasn't quick. Oh, Kubica, definitely. Loved him in the Williams. Yeah, I actually really like Kubica. I thought he was great. Quick. Yeah, he was quick. Yeah, I really liked him. Yeah, it's hard to look past like ones that I think in recent times, the last sort of 10 years, that I think should have got more of a shot. He could have been F1 world champion, and he was so good. And when he until that, yeah, the injury was horrendous, wasn't it? The one he got in the rally. That was it for him. Didn't they brought him back though? Didn't they? He came back onto the grid after the rally, I think. He would have been at Ferrari alongside Alonso in 2012. Yeah, well, that would have been a good. That would have been a good place for him. Although, if Alonso couldn't win the world championship in a Ferrari, I mean, I don't know who could. But that's the thing at Ferrari, isn't it? We've seen Vettel and Alonso. Now look at Hamilton. I don't know what it is. They take these world champions, and I think they just go, thanks for your feedback, world champions. We'll do it our way. And I think it's just a very difficult place to go to, Ferrari. It's a team like no other. They have this arrogance, I think is the word for it, and this tradition, and I think they're stuck in their ways, and I think they need to modernize. You know, that's what I think. I think it needs a complete restructure. They need to modernize. They need to run like a modern Formula One team. I mean, for instance, like when everyone copied Adrian Newey's push-pull front and rear suspension in that certain configuration, Ferrari go, nah, we'll flip that around and do our own. It's like, don't do that. Everyone's copied Newey's suspension on the Red Bull because it works. And that was in the new regulation of cars. And then Ferrari go, do you know what? No, we'll have ours the opposite way around. Like, why do that? Yeah, Vlad, it's the prancing horse. It's the Ferrari, isn't it? It's got an aura because everybody wants to be world champion. But the cherry on the cake is, imagine being world champion in a Ferrari. Oh, Bianchi. Oh, Bianchi. What a shame. Yeah, Jules Bianchi was looking good. He was looking good for a career at Ferrari, wasn't he? Yeah, definitely was looking good for a career at Ferrari, Jules Bianchi. Yeah. Just a terrible incident. And to succumb from his injuries 6 months later was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Formula One is, you know, it's a bloody dangerous sport, and it's always. I mean, it was more dangerous in the 70s. An interesting fact: in the 70s, an average of 2 drivers a year would lose their lives. 2 a year in the 70s, and everyone just accepted it. That's Formula One. 2 people off the grid are gonna leave. You know, gonna have a fatal accident. It's mental. Vlad said, I think the team principal said that if in 25 there'd be 3 cars, Jules would be there. Yeah. You know, I was. Do you know what's interesting? The Marussia Racing team. I was a guest with Marussia back in 2014 at Silverstone. Yeah, we went to Silverstone. We're in the BRDC. It was amazing. It was, and they treated us really well as well. We got, obviously this was way before any of this. This had been going 3 months, but yeah, we were guests with the with Marussia. I mean, to be fair, Marussia, that car was not good. If any of you remember, it was not good. And actually, team principal at Haas now was team principal at Marussia. Loudon. Shaitan said he's also the first ever driver to score points for Marussia in their team's history with P9 in Monaco. To score points in that Marussia car, it was phenomenal because it just was not good. It was just not. It was a handful. It was just not a good car. But Marussia Racing was basically made up of what was an F2 team. They didn't quite have the expertise needed. Crackeye, been away, back again. Sonny Hayes had a bad accident and left. Sonny Hayes, yeah. Sonny Hayes is coming back though, according to Apple TV. That he's coming back for a sequel. Sonny Hayes. Yeah, Apple have got they're developing the next one. The next F1 movie. And they've also got the rights, haven't they, for a new Drive to Survive type show. Which is going to be on Apple as well. I need to get Sonny Hayes on our show. Has anyone got Brad's number? We need to get him on. We need to get him talking about Formula One on here. The world's greatest fan channel. So right now, Norris is holding P1. Ignore the tyres on my data. They're all on the softs. I don't know why the tyre data's coming out all funky, but they are all on the soft. Trust me. Everybody is on softs. But Norris is on the softs. He's currently P1. Verstappen's also on the softs. And he's P2. 3/10 behind. We've got Russell, Behrman, Hulkenberg. Piastri still not put in a lap yet. So Shaitan says, speaking about those backmarket teams like Caterham and Marussia, Heikki Kovalainen and Timo Glock were the original goats for those two teams back then. Didn't Timo Glock end up driving for Toyota? Well, both of them, I don't think they're really world champion material F1, but they're both decent drivers who really can achieve more good results but their F1 career got ruined when they joined these backmarket teams. Yeah. I think that's the problem with backmarket teams. They've got this massive churn of drivers. And if you are a driver who's perhaps a mid-tier driver, and yeah, but you do end up, at a Marussia or a Caterham, which just aren't competitive. Because Toyota was a big letdown, wasn't it? To be honest. I thought Toyota were going to do well. Their driver lineups were a bit, they didn't have Anthony Davidson, I think, at one point. But you would have thought the might of a Japanese manufacturing giant like Toyota, that they would have done more. And Timo Glock, I think, was rated at the beginning. I think he was rated. I mean, I think actually there are some drivers who've been flattered by the car, right? Yeah, right. So Glock was at Toyota, yeah. So you imagine joining Toyota, thinking I'm in a works team, we're going to be competitive, doesn't really work out. Toyota aren't great, and then he ends up with at Marussia, which were honestly they were basically an F2 team that then came into Formula One. And he actually, so Glock did get podium finishes and points finishes with Toyota. Yeah, I think he could have done better. I wonder why he couldn't get. Wonder why he didn't get a better drive than Marussia. Maybe they paid him a ton of money. But yeah, it's yeah. If Alonso were at Marussia, I don't even know what engines were Marussia. I don't even know what engines they were running at Marussia. It would say GP2 engine and a lot more. What engines were they running at Marussia in 2014? I honestly don't know. I don't know who was supplying them with engines. Mark, someone's just coming for a mop. You're still hiding in the cleaning closet. Yes, Mark. Oh, so Marussia were running Ferrari engines. Wow. Well, and Kovalainen, he was also a Grand Prix winner in F1 with McLaren. And when he was at Caterham, there are occasions where he dragged this tractor to outqualify some of the midfield teams. I mean, Caterham's a brand that we might see back. I was reading that Caterham brand was wanting to get back into Formula One as the final team on the grid. I mean, the obvious team that's missing from Formula One is Lotus, isn't it? Like, how we don't have Lotus. Oh, Cosworth. How we don't have Lotus on the grid with their heritage. Colin Chapman. Did he? Kovalainen raced and won against Schumacher in the Race of Champions. Oh, so Shaitan says they used Ferrari in 2014. Yeah, I mean, obviously the engine was probably not the problem then. It was just, they had a very inexperienced team. Like, Loden had never been a team principal before. You know, he's from, he owned a company that did well to do with data, I think. And he's back being a team principal again over at Cadillac. I don't know, he must have talked his way in because it certainly wasn't on merit or on performance, I should say. How has Loden become team principal at Cadillac when in Marussia I don't even think they scored a point? Or they might maybe scored one. They never got a podium. So Norris currently fastest. No one's improving on their times actually. Ignore the tyres on that data that everyone is on the soft tyre. Just to be clear, if you look at the data on your screen, everyone is on the soft tyre. I have no idea why we're getting dodgy data about the tyres. Oh, Kobayashi! Yeah, we might see him again. We might see him again, you know. Yeah, he was like Kamikaze Kobayashi. Is he, Vlad? So Colin Chapman's of Romanian descent. He was brilliant. Colin Chapman was just... He was the Adrian Newey of his day. He was the first guy to make the engine part of the actual chassis. Brilliant. Yeah, Colin Chapman. Brilliant. Yeah, and Kobayashi is quick. Yeah, brave as hell. But we might see him back. He's been doing the TPC program for Haas because of the Toyota sponsorship deal. The TPC program. Kobayashi's been driving the Haas F1 car. You know, he's not too... We could see him back. How old is he now? Let's find... How old is Kobayashi now? Let's find out. Oh, he's 39. Maybe not. So Kobayashi is 39 years old. So maybe we won't see him back, actually. But he has been doing the Testing Previous Cars program for Toyota. I think really then Kobayashi's probably mentoring some of the younger Japanese drivers through the TPC program with Haas. Because that's what Toyota want. They want a pathway for Japanese drivers and engineers. He got a podium. Wow, I didn't realise Kobayashi got a podium. He's 39, by the time Toyota take over Haas, I reckon it's going to be 2028, which will mean Kobayashi is like 43. No, it doesn't. It'd mean 42. I don't know. I think it's probably just a bit too old. But that's my prediction. I think Haas will become a Works Toyota team by 28. Legend, how you doing, buddy? Just joining in at the business end of FP2. As you can see, by the way, Legend, if you're looking at my screen, ignore the tyres. Everyone's on soft tyres. For some reason, the data's coming through that people are on mediums. They're not. Everybody's on the softs. Everybody's on the softs. But Norris, fastest. I mean, Piastri's down in P11. You think Piastri want to put a hot lap in? Norris is fastest. Verstappen's coming up now. We might see a hot lap now. Yeah, I think, Vlad, do you know what? Felipe Drugovich has been shafted a bit, hasn't he? He wins F2 and he just never gets a shot. But it's the same as Leonardo for Neroli, who's just won F2 this year. He hasn't got a drive next year. And he won back to back. He won F3, won F2, and he's been signed by McLaren, but he hasn't got a drive for 26. Yeah, he was great, and I think that's the thing. If we look, there's only going to be one rookie on the grid next year, and it's Arvid Lindblad. There's no room for any more rookies. We've had so many rookies this year that have been pretty decent, that have managed to retain their drives. So there's no rookies next year. So, you know, you got people like Drugovich who are F2 champions. You've got Leonardo's won this year. He's not going to get a drive. Doesn't seem fair, does it? So Russell's putting the third fastest lap. I think Russell's going to be the unknown quantity. I think Russell could be somebody who's a little fly in the ointment this weekend. He could be a disruptor. Behrman's fourth fastest. We're not seeing any pace from Piastri yet. I think I'd like to see a hot lap from Norris, Verstappen, and Piastri, but that's it. So Verstappen second fastest, Norris fastest of all. I'm trying to see if Piastri's actually on a lap. Is he on a lap? Yeah, I think Piastri is on a lap. I don't think it's going to be a fast one, though. So, yeah, Norris, McLaren showing, well, it's first round to McLaren, isn't it? Fastest overall to Lando Norris. Not showing any signs of nerves here. Verstappen, second fastest. Piastri coming around to complete a lap. No improvement. P11 for Piastri. So Piastri's quite a way off his pace, off his teammate from Lando. I guess we'll know more in FP3. But McLaren's looking quicker. First indications of McLaren's are quicker than Red Bull right now. But FP3, we will get some qualifying runs. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. Qualifying's going to get very, very spicy, let me tell you. So hopefully you'll all join me for that. Oh, I need to resolve the poll. So today's poll. Here we go. Let me just refresh this. So today's poll: should Piastri give up a podium to allow Lando Norris to win the World Drivers' Championship? 70% of you said no. 70%. Only 30% of you said yes, he should do. Vlad says, so where do you go from F2 if there's no room in F1? Exactly, Vlad. You go into a reserve driver role, sitting there hoping you get an opportunity somewhere, which may or may not come. Because by that point, are your backers still with you? Because as a rookie, you got to bring a load of backing with you, right? So, yeah, there's some people that the window just doesn't work for them. They win F2, they lose their window. Like Drugovic is one of those. There's a lot of reasons why people get the drive. Then you get Colapinto, who retains his drive. Does he deserve it? That's a whole other debate. Shaitan says, there's another ex-F1 driver who think had a lot of potential back then. Is Pascal... How do I say that? Wellane. But his career got lasted only for 2 years. At Manor, MRT, 2006, Sauber in 2000. Well, Manor Racing was basically Marussia. That's what I was saying. Manor were basically the team that built up, were basically Marussia. It was their people. And Manor basically stepped up, didn't they, to start racing in F1. But like I said, I'm just not sure they had the right skills and expertise to compete at that level. Right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thank you so much to Shaitan, Vlad, who else was Mark for hiding in the cupboard in order to watch the stream at work, Crackite, of course, everyone who's been involved, Drip, Sema, absolute pleasure, Crackite, everyone. I hope I've not missed anyone out. I will be back tomorrow for FP3, and then it gets juicy. Then we get into qualifying, where we will get some excitement and some action, and I'm here for it. Hopefully you will be here for it too. I will see you on the next one. Ta-ta.